Okie dokie, boys and girls. So, yesterday I went to FIBO, like the fitness expo in Germany, with a friend of mine, and well, I didn't really record anything there, but I went with a friend, and basically, Eneas, love you. I was talking to him, and I was complaining to him about like basically the stuff I've been complaining about to you guys, which is, I want to focus on my leg training, but my ankle's injured and I'm demotivated, I'm tired. Who cares, right? I was talking to him about it and like, yeah, I can't train properly at the moment because, my ankle's injured. And sometimes I talked about being demotivated and what you should do last week on the channel, but sometimes, something that you can do is just talk to a friend, right? Because, as I was talking to him, I was starting to realize already, I'm at least a little bit self-aware. I was starting to realize like, hey, I'm just being a pussy, right? And then he just said, he didn't say a lot. He just said, well, why the hell do you need your ankles for calisthenics? Like 90% of people skip leg day anyway. Just do some planche and do some front lever or whatever, right? Whatever the hell you're doing. And I'm like, holy shit, that's the most based answer I've ever heard in my life. Because guess what? I wanted to focus on leg training and squats and running, whatever the hell, right? And I couldn't do so properly because of the injury. That's correct. But I was so focused on it that I just lost sight of everything else that I was still able to do. I was like, well, if I train hard, I'm gonna limit my injury. But guess what? Planche training, one-arm pull-ups, it's strength. You're not gonna be able to train it to such an extent that it limits recovery for some ankle injury, right? So yeah, I guess that's all just me trying to say like, well, every once in a while it's good to talk to a friend. You can just say one little thing and you realize like, hey, I've been making things out to be bigger than they really are. I've been a little bit of a pussy, and that's a good reminder to tell yourself, right, that you can still do more than you actually believe. So yeah, I guess the plan going forward is just going to be, well, overcoming the injury. I didn't really know what I was gonna do after Simenami, right, after the ultra marathon, but I guess it's going to become a little bit of an overcoming the injury series. Okie dokie, so what are we gonna do in order to overcome the injury? Well, basically, I put a lot of value into daily habits, so I'm gonna make a daily habit to do some exercise, but not just some random exercise. I already do that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set a standard for myself of some exercises that I want to do every day, because before I decided that I really need to take care of this ankle injury, I was basically doing a 10-kilometer run and 100 pistol squats on each leg every day. And it was such an amazing training. Building a habit or having a habit is like having like a plant or a pet. You have to take care of it. If you don't do it every day, it's gonna die. And what you're keeping alive with your habit, it's basically your habit is, the food you give to your dog, and your dog is the dream. You're giving your dream food. You're keeping your dream alive by keeping yourself to the habit. It's like a bit of a responsibility, in my opinion, and to me that's something meaningful. So I want to build a habit. Of course, it's not gonna be pistol squats because that's prevented my injury from getting better. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna do some squats that are gonna benefit my ankles, hopefully, and then also some different exercises, just something that I can do as a bare minimum every day. And well, today is Sunday, it's my rest day, so that's gonna be it for today's workout as well. I'm just gonna do the bare minimum, so to speak, or I'm gonna find out what the bare minimum is at the moment, and yeah, we're gonna build up from there. So first of all, what I'm gonna do is some tippy toe squats. So yeah, I guess you won't be able to see it. You'll see it in a minute, right? I'm gonna stand on my toes and do some squats that way because apparently, those steep toe squats, or I guess they're called Hindu squats as well, they're known to build ankle strength. And I did them yesterday for like a couple reps, and it actually felt quite good. So I'm gonna see how many reps I can comfortably get in 10 minutes because when I was doing the daily pistol squats, 100 reps on each leg, I was also, doing it in 10 minutes. So I feel like if I can, get a squatting habit of something that I can do in 10 minutes, then, I'll be on a good path. And well, 2 times a week I have a leg day. On those days, I'll give myself like room to do something a little bit more difficult, perhaps 15 minutes of squats or getting more reps in 10 minutes. But it's important when you're doing these daily like these daily habits, this daily exercise, it's important that you don't have to max out every day because if you're maxing out every day, you won't be able to recover. So instead, I do something that I can manage every day and recover from every day, and then hopefully, it will build me a solid base. So yeah, every day chipping away a little bit, the the little the little efforts stack up high if you continue doing them. So that's what we're gonna do. And yeah, I'll play some good music and see how it goes. 10 minutes of squats. Alright, that's 30 reps, I believe. I totally don't know how this is gonna go today. I'm just, trying things out and setting a standard for myself. So let's continue. 8.5 minutes left. Alright, 200 squats in 10 minutes. It's the same amount of reps as a pistol squat if you count up the left and the right leg, but it's definitely not as tough on the lungs. I'm not breathing as heavy, but that's not the point. And the point is that this sucked quite a lot. There's quite a lot of burn in my quadriceps, and tomorrow I have to do it again. So I have to do something that sucks every day, and that's a responsibility. And the responsibility will keep the dream of getting the most durable legs in calisthenics alive. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the squats. I am gonna do one more exercise: planche push-ups, straddle planche push-ups. Don't get excited, but I want to see if I can do like 50 reps in a decent manner, and I want to see if I would be capable of doing that on a daily basis as well. So let's get going. 50 is gonna be too much. I'm weak as hell. All right, so those straddle planche push-ups, it's been a while since I've done them on the floor properly, so they were very weak. At the moment, all I can manage is 25 reps in about 5 sets, which I think 5 sets is a good standard if I want to keep it up every day. But, that's where it starts, not necessarily where it ends. So I'm going to see how that evolves. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's workout, and it's going to be, well, it was a very simple workout, wasn't it? And when you're going to build a habit, perhaps simple is the best because this workout, mind you, no equipment at all, it's something you can do anywhere, right? I went for a simple run, well, walking and jogging intervals because at the moment I'm trying to heal my ankle. But then I did some squats and I did some push ups. The basics, really, nothing complex about it. And that's perhaps exactly what I need because if you've been watching the sort of random videos over the past couple of weeks, you will notice I've been trying to build a habit, ever since I got back from Japan, and I've been failing to do so, right? Especially with this injury, like thinking I can, ignore the injury and go ahead with the habit, but then having to, dial it back again. It's a bit chaotic at the moment for me. And, that's just to say it doesn't matter how many times you fail to build a habit. It's just important that when you fail, you try again. So perhaps, the habit I'm trying to build again right now, overcoming the injury, perhaps this is gonna fail too. But in the end, if I just keep trying, it's gonna, well, something's gonna stick. If your training doesn't work, if you can't stick to your training, it doesn't matter. But you just have to keep going and try something new because as long as you keep trying something new, eventually you'll find something that you can stick to. And I think that's the most important part. So day one of overcoming the injury, and well, we won't stop until we are fully healed. So yeah, I'm gonna have a shower, put some icing on my ankle, and see you tomorrow. Rest up and see you tomorrow for, I think, a push day. So let's go.